Good morning, everyone. I'm back. I know it's been a long time. Today is October 16th, so it's Thursday. And I haven't been on for a while because life has dealt me a shit show. And I'm not even going to get into it because it's discouraging. But this is the first chance I've really had to get back on. Oh, gosh. All right, so where do we begin? Let me move my coffee. And let me put my cards aside. I hope everybody is doing well. So I've had like 3 different issues that I've been dealing with all at once, and that's why I haven't been on. And it's been challenging here. So very, very challenging. But I'm keeping my chin up. We still haven't... I'm not out of it yet. I'm still in it. But I'm thinking at least one of the pieces of the 3 things that I'm dealing with maybe finally fixed either tonight or tomorrow, I'm hoping. So I hope that life has been treating you all very, very well. Even in the midst of challenges, there's always a blessing in it, right? And I think sometimes it's really hard to stay focused on that. Because the challenge kind of takes up all of your energy and attention. But I think it's really good for us to step back and kind of breathe through it and find the blessings in whatever it is that we're dealing with. And why the shit show that's been dumped on us actually may have a blessing or even more than one blessing within it. And I know that's something that I've been having to practice over the last 3 weeks pretty consistently. And believe it or not, I have found my blessings. And so... you know, there's a lot to be grateful for, and I hope that all of you are able to find all of your blessings every day, challenge or no challenge. So it is 5:47 a.m. here, Eastern Standard Time, on October 16th. In the year that we call 2025, on the day that we call Thursday. And I think there's been a lot that's been going on. I haven't been able to keep up with much because we've been in the midst of some real shit. But friends and family have been keeping me posted on some things, and I know there's some doomsdayers out there, and there's also people out there that are very logical and level-headed. So I think what we want to do today is we want to get a universal message. Let me just say what I have come to believe myself without being well informed, just having people give me little tidbits. All right, let me sip my coffee here. So I believe we're finally in that red October that we've all talked about for years. And the reason why I think that, well, I'll tell you why I think that. I was listening to President Trump, and this is several weeks ago, I think, at this point now, talk, and he was talking about how Putin had threatened us, and then he said, but he went and he sent in a submarine, a nuclear submarine over there. And then he went on and on and on about how good this nuclear submarine is, that it's undetectable, and that we're the only ones that have an undetectable submarine, and blah, blah, blah. And I felt like that was trying to tell us something. You know, that was trying to tell us something. Now, you have to remember that I'm not somebody that's watched a lot of movies, and I was never a TV buff, and I've actually probably watched more TV in the last 2 years than I ever have in my life. So I don't know all of these movies and stuff. I just don't know. So I was talking to my cousin and I said to her, I think it's Red October. And I said, I think it's Red October because Trump's talking about Putin. There's Russia. And he's talking about a threat and us sending over a nuclear submarine. I said, but here's the problem. I've never seen the movie The Hunt for Red October. Have you? And she said, yeah, a long time ago I went to the theaters to see it. And I said, well, what's it about? And she said, well, it's about a Russian and a nuclear submarine. And I said, oh, okay, so yeah, we're definitely in Red October. And I was telling my boyfriend that night, I said, yeah, we're definitely in Red October. I've never seen the movie, but my cousin said that she had, and I said, this all lines up. I think we're finally there. It's Red October, I believe. And he's like, you've never seen that movie? And I said, no. So he looked to see if it was something that we could get on one of the channels through Amazon Prime and a couple other channels that he gets. And it was. So we sat down and watched it. I'd never seen it. I was like, wow, I bet this looked really good back in the old days, but with today's technology, you can see how fake these underwater scenes are. But anyways, after watching it, then I was pretty sure this is Red October. So that's what I've gleaned, that we're in Red October, and I've been really dealing with a bunch of crap here. So I haven't been able to keep up on things, but one of my friends let me know that crypto has dropped. I can't remember. They did tell me silver's up. I can't remember what they said it's at right now, but silver and gold are up. Crypto has just done a little nosedive. Oh, and they sent me something saying that we're expected to see the JFK files and findings to be released soon. And I don't know, there's a bunch of stuff, right? So I would say we've got some pretty decent we're moving forward. And of course, this is the month of indictments, which we all know. I think Hillary's indictment was supposed to be this week. I don't know if that's happened or not. But shit's happening, right? Shit's happening. So I want to just ask the universe for a universal message and just see what the universe has to say to us. I did get sent a video the other night. I haven't watched it. I just immediately said I don't consent to these things. And I'm not saying anything bad about the person that put it out. I'm not saying that. But it was a video about, well, I just said to the person that sent it to me, what's it about? And they said, well, it's about some major storms hitting California and the East Coast, and it's going to be like catastrophic, blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, I'm not going to listen to that. Not vibing it. So I immediately, after I found out what it was all about, I said, I don't consent to that. I do not consent to that. I only consent to a healed and healthy world where people are thriving and happy and in harmony with nature, themselves, and our Creator. So, I went about the business of making my decrees, and then like I told her, I said, every night I go to bed and I see this earth healed. And the way I look at it is, this person might think they're remote viewing these things or whatever, but it ain't on my timeline. I don't consent to that. And I know that some things are just meant and there's no stopping them, and some things you can. And so I'll just keep going about the business of going to bed and seeing the world healed, right? And I can't see getting my panties in a twist over shit like that, honestly. Because there's no amount of preparedness that you can have. You can't prepare for that. You could have tons of food stocked up. You'll lose your food, There's just no point in me putting my energy there. And so I haven't. I've consistently put my energy in seeing the earth healed and in harmony, and people in harmony with the earth, and everybody happy, healthy, healing, thriving, connecting to their creator so that they can fill themselves up and have a nice, full, happy, contented, peace-filled life. So that's what I've been doing. But seems like there's just a lot of, there's always got to be the black pill thrown in there, right? Can't let anybody be too happy. Let's toss a black pill on them. So now that I've gone on and on, I'm just going to say don't follow any links or emails in the comment section of the channel soliciting you for anything, no matter who they're pretending to be. Don't do it. Scams. And secondly, the healing intentions are always set for you, folks. Always, always, always. So if you so choose and you want that, go ahead and stand in your power and decree it for your highest and greatest good, only and always. So, let's see, okay? Let's see. Whoops, these cards kind of want to fall. Let's take them. We'll put them up there. Can you see that? Let me tip you. You can see the angle of the camera is going to be an issue. Move it. And I know it's kind of dim, you guys, but that is because it is, we are in it's early. It's not even 6 o'clock yet, and we are in the time of year where it's dark all the time. And going to get darker as the months move forward. So, sorry about that, but, yeah, it's just dark. It's still pitch black out. I don't think it's going to start getting light until about 6:30, and right now it's dark. It's dark at 6:30 p.m., maybe even a little sooner at this point. Alright, so we've kept those. That's our 9, that's sovereignty, that's our 6, the lovers, higher arcana. Getting over the hump, being able to see deception. Okay, loving vibrations, we're being guided. And then the 9, ending cycles and being able to take care of ourselves. So let's see with the 7 card spread what else the universe might have to say for us. Please and thank you. Just a universal message, just to see what the universe thinks we could most best glean for information, insight, or whatever. I feel like this camera is not set the way I normally have it. Jeez. Gosh, you guys. I'm trying. All right, so let's just take a look at our pathway, the universal message of our pathway. So the pathway is the world. So this is for all of us. Doesn't matter what country you're in, what state you're in. Doesn't matter, because it starts with the higher arcana, the world, right? And that's 21, that's joy. So be joyful, be happy. I'm going to move these cards over here because I think it might just work better. Alright, so be joyful, be happy. That's the world, you guys. That's the energy that's driving our biggest pathway forward. The pathway that the universe wants to talk about right now. So, so the world, never forget the number. That 21 breaks down to a 3, so that's always joy, harmony, peace. That's you know, staying in a particular vibration, because the world and the elements and the heavens are all supporting us in something right now. But then we come up from the world and we have the Knight of Wands, and he is like my war card. He is very passionate. He's very fiery. So there's a lot of talk about fighting, war, all of this shit right now, right? And it does seem to be that way. And it's not just like for one particular country, but it's being felt passionately throughout the world. And you know, please always remember that the news is not for us, right? We're meant to be looking at the news and being very discerning. We're meant to be hearing the news with ears to hear, and watching the news with eyes to see, and being very discerning and using our intuition and pulling out those oddities that give us those pieces of information that will show us where we're actually at, right? But as far as the energy stands, the overall energy is across the world. There's this depiction of fighting and war, and everybody seems to be focusing on it, right? So that's with that Queen of Pentacles. She's looking, the pentacles represent the earth and the earthly pleasures, and she manifests by what she focuses on. So everybody's focusing right now on this earth plane, on all of this fighting and war type energy that's going on. Now the advice with that, honestly, is if we were only to look at this pathway, the advice would be not to focus on that, right? Because what do we want to focus on? We want to focus on joy and good things. Just like I started out telling you the things that I've been hearing, and how when I get sent the negative stuff, it's not that I'm fluffy and I don't want to look at anything that's uncomfortable or not so great. It's that I will see that stuff and I make a choice to redirect and focus and manifest from a place of healing and harmony and peace. And so the advice with this would be not to focus on and manifest the fighting and the war, right? We would want to do the opposite. We would want to focus on and manifest the good stuff, while being able to look at this stuff logically. While being able to look at the news, the overall climate of what's being told to us, the collective's thought process, and we want to focus on healing it. That's kind of anybody that's tuning into this channel, that's pretty much what we're doing here. Working to heal these things, right? So that's our pathway. All over the world, there's a lot of talk of war and fighting, and people are very highly focused on it. So our advice is to focus on the opposite and see everything healed, okay? So then the story starts out with, the topic starts out with the Page of Wands. And the Page of Wands is, he's hyper focused, you guys. He's like hyper focused on what? His stick. And his stick in the deck of cards represents your day-to-day journey. So there's a hyper focusing right now on the day-to-day journey. And all of the stuff that's being revealed from like a place of where people have been in the shadows doing some icky things. So there's a lot of revelation that's going on right now. And believe it or not, there's new energy, because the Page of Cups is like a fresh energy. Sorry, not cups, but rods. The Page of Rods is a fresh energy. So no matter what we think or how we feel or how we've been feeling alone and people aren't waking up or whatever, it is saying that there's a whole fresh energy out there now that are really looking at the day-to-day, the journey, and they're discovering a lot of things that are not great. So it's like eyes are opening. A whole new group of people have come into focus on the things that we've been focusing on for years and years with the Seven of Cups. So that's our confirmation, you guys, that it's never too late, and people really are still waking up. So there's a whole new energy being woken up to these things. I need more coffee, you guys. So that's a good thing. And now if you come down here and you look at this, the world, it's energy all over the world. It's not just here in America. It's all over the world. There are fresh eyes, fresh energy starting to focus on some of this icky shit. So it's like for whatever reason, there's a whole fresh level of people coming awake. And so that's good. So across from that Page of Wands, you have the Queen of Wands, right? But right in the middle, you have the fighting. So don't forget that maybe perhaps all of this talk of riots, which there's been plenty of, all of this talk of ICE and hating ICE, and I imagine the Charlie Kirk fits into this passionate fighting war card. The Antifa is back in the news. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff that's cycling, that is all around. It's inflammatory, it's passionate, it's warlike, it's fighting on many levels. And so I would say because of that, that's what's getting these new people to start to really focus and see things differently and see these things differently, right? So then you come across from this fresh energy that is now starting to really focus on the icky things, and you have that Queen of Wands. And that Queen of Wands can be really tricky. She can be very tricky, you guys. She can be good or she can be bad, and it all depends on her layout. But this is a feminine card, so this is a very feminine energy. So across from this hyper-focusing, there is a feminine energy on the scene right now that is somehow impacting or having an influence on this fresh energy that's looking at things in a different, with a different perspective. And there may be more than one, you guys. We'll see. We'll pull more cards. But it's very feminine. It's a very feminine energy. And people are taking notice of this person across across the board, across the world. So she's kind of in the limelight, but she's actually part of the 17, the star. She's part of our good alliance. Now let's not forget, we've got these two cards that wanted to fall out. So we have this sovereign woman, again, a sovereign woman, ending a cycle. The Lovers card, which is the higher arcana, that's divinely guided, with the, again, the feminine energy that has been deceived, or an energy, doesn't necessarily have to be the girl, it's just how it was drawn up here. Being deceived and unable to see the deception, and others being able to see clearly. So we know that we're ending a cycle, and we know that there's people that are starting to be able to see clearly past the deception. And we're going to understand via this, because these fell out first, that this is all because of this energy here, the Knight of Rods, where there's the fighting, the passion, the war type energy that's brought people to hyper focus. And it looks as though they're looking to a female energy that is now or has been connected with the good alliance, the white hats, or whatever you want to call them. 17, right? Where miracles happen. So let's get a few more cards and get the depth of the story here. It would seem as though we've gotten over another hump. More people have woken up and started to see the deception, seeing all the ickiness. We're getting really close to ending a cycle here, you guys. And we have some feminine energy that's coming in that's helping to create this. Now, this feminine energy very much could be in the physical, or it could just be our divine feminine that is aiding us along. But let's just take a look. So it looks as though we do have more people waking up because of the talk of the fighting, because of this passion and this war. A whole new section of like fresh energy. So let's get some more cards. That's good, because Donald Trump said a long time ago, you know, when it comes time to do what we need to do, most people will be in agreement, because they'll see how badly we need to do it, right? So we've got this whole other group of people now that are waking up. A whole bunch of people, fresh energy, waking up and really looking at things closely, because this guy's hyper focusing. So really looking at things closely. And what he's looking at is all of the crappy things that have been being done, and the fact that there are people kind of behind the scenes doing it. Alright, so more of the story. We come up, this guy's hyper-focusing. He's starting to see, or this group of people are starting to see, that there really is, there really are people that are trying to balance out this icky shit that's been going on with that Seven of Cups, and really create like balance and abundance, and not have so much darkness, you guys. We are here on the earth plane. And they're also starting to see, as we come over, that the money situation, which is actually touching the high priestess side of the card where there's the darkness that it actually touches. So they'd actually be starting to see that the imbalance in the money and the way things are done here on the earth plane, because the Two of Pentacles is always the earth plane, they're starting to see that there's some big discrepancies there. And not liking how this is being done, how this is being handled, how their money is being handled. And they see it as very dark. And they want to see that transformed. That makes me wonder about, like, if they're starting to see that, if it's part of the illegal immigration that's starting to make people see that, because your taxpayers' dollars from your state, your country, your state, are going towards taking care of people that have never paid taxes in your state. And while you struggle. Do you know what I mean? While you don't have enough money yourself, you're being taxed to death, and they're taking your money and they're just handing it to people that have never paid taxes in your state or your country. And so they're seeing the imbalances, and it could very much have to do with that because it's fresh energy. So they want to see some things transformed, and that's good. Hopefully, if they want to see things transformed, they get out and they speak about it, right? They do their part. So then we come down and we have this Ace of Swords. And the swords represent, they're moved by air. So they're quick moving, you guys. And they represent your mind, your ego, your thoughts, and all of that. But they're also like technology. So now this is the Ace of Swords is lying right in between the Page of Wands and the Queen of Wands. So with that Ace of Swords, you see that this person not only has got some fresh energy and they're focusing on things, seeing things differently, but they're thinking differently. And what are they thinking about? They're thinking about what's good, what's bad, what's balanced. They're thinking about the way things have been done on this earth plane are unbalanced. And there's this whole new thought process that's coming in to this fresh energy. So it's not just that they're seeing and they're focusing, they're really thinking different. So there's been a major shift in people's perception. There's been a major shift in people's perception. They've been enlightened. And this is what we needed. So the universe is saying that there's been a major shift in the way people are seeing things, focusing on things, and thinking about things. The universe is saying we've had another wake up. People have gotten over the hump. We've had another wake up call. They're seeing deception with the Lover's card. So they're seeing and focusing on things with that Page of Rods, and they're thinking differently with that Ace of Swords. We have gone through a major shift, is what the universe is saying. People have become enlightened, and this is what we've been waiting for with that Four of Swords, to wake people up. The enlightenment has come. Yes, because this people are focusing on the war and they're thinking different, and they're seeing things that were icky, and they really want some balance, and they can very well and clearly see the dark and the light aspects of things, the good and the bad, right? And they're tired of it. They want things to be a little more balanced here on the earth plane. It's like a total transformation that has happened within the minds of people. Eyes opened. There's been an opening of the eyes. And that feminine energy really has got something to do with it. And we did do a reading on the Divine Feminine, you guys. But there's been a major shift, and people have been enlightened. And because that Enlightenment card is covering the shift, the Ace of Swords, and the Queen of Rods, I would definitely say the feminine, there's a feminine aspect that has opened people's eyes, and this is miraculous with the Star. Giant shift with the Tower. This is huge enlightenment with the Hanged Man and the answer to our prayers. There's a focus on this feminine. And again, the Lovers, you know, it's like the feminine wakes up. And again, down here, you've got that Nine of Pentacles, and that's that female energy, and she's ending the cycle. So we've got a lot of femininity in this reading. Let me get more coffee, you guys, before it goes cold. So we're being told there's been a major wake up, a major shift, that a whole new group of people have come awake. Is that correct? They see things differently, they're feeling things differently, and they've begun thinking differently. They're seeing and thinking clearly. They're seeing the good, they're seeing the bad, they're wanting balance. They can clearly see how unbalanced things have been here. And it's created a major shift and a major enlightenment moment. It's gotten people over the hump. They're able to see the deception and hear the deception. This is exactly what we've been wanting, praying for. We're finally ending a particular cycle here on the earth plane. I would say around people being so blinded. So you're telling us a whole new group of people have woken up. Is that correct? Just with one card, is that correct? Whole new group of people have woken up. They've walked away from the way they felt. Passionately. We have a whole group of people that have walked away from the way they felt with this Eight of Cups. They've just walked away from what they once felt. They now see that it was missing something. It wasn't full, it wasn't fulfilling, it might not have looked bad, but now they've seen that it didn't serve them, and they've walked away from it. Not only are they walking away from what they used to feel, but they're doing it passionately. And yes, it's very guided by that moon, the feminine energy. Interesting. I'm going to pick this all up, and I'm going to let them talk about that. Because we've just seen that that the whole group of people have woken up, or have seen things clearly. But now they're saying not only are people seeing things clearly and they're seeing the deception, which to us is the wake up, right? But this is saying that they've walked away from an ideology, a way that they felt with this Eight of Cups, you guys. So let's get a little bit more story on that, please and thank you. So it's not just that it's not just that they're now, their eyes have opened and they're seeing things hyper focused and seeing things with those rods. and have a new way of thinking with that Ace of Swords. It's not just that their foundation shifted and they went through this big shift, and they've become enlightened with that Hanged Man, which is the answer to like the prayers. It's also lifting their vibration, even though it might seem hard for them. This is about walking away from a way that they felt or things that they thought passionately before. Now they've walked away from that. They're like, this doesn't serve me. So I want to know the story there. Because to me, that would say a lot of people that were, I'm wondering if a lot of people that were saturated in woke ideologies have just taken a shift. Or if it's people that were middle of the road, but left leaning towards some of these ideologies, if they have taken a shift. So I just want the story, you guys, because I'm nosy and I want the whole story. So that's an 8. That's a higher knowing. That's being a higher guidance, right? And that's the moon and intuition that's finally guiding you away from shit that didn't serve you. Walking away from it like it's all set up, it looks great, you think it's fine, and then all of a sudden you realize one day, this does not serve me, and you just walk away. And when you do that, it's passionately, because see, he's all dressed in red. It's passionately. So, let's get the rest of the story there. I think there's been a big shift in humanity. Looks that way, and the universe wants us to know that. Calm down a little bit so you guys can see this. More coffee. Both things we've got, so the 8 of Cups, they've walked away. Walked away, being more intuitively guided. Then we come down, we have that 7 of Pentacles. That's our earthly pleasures. And with that 7, it's seek, seek, seek. So people have walked away because they felt a particular way. They felt like the way that they had been feeling wasn't serving them. They started to understand that they were being emotionally triggered and driven, and they decided to no longer live like that. It's not serving them. They come down to that 7 of Pentacles. They've begun seeking. So you're seeking the truth, you're seeking the wisdom, you're seeking the knowledge, right? And really looking at the seeds that they themselves have planted and sown. And they're a little disappointed with, well, this guy's really bummed out with what's been grown. So they might be berating right now, but that's fine. We all do that from time to time, right? They will eventually look down and see that they didn't put all their eggs in that basket, and they will pick up what they do have and they'll walk away. But this is good, and start something else, right? Start a new movement. But this is really good because then we come over and we have that Page of Swords. So they realized they were being emotionally triggered. They walked away from that. Then they've been seeking the truth. They've been seeking the knowledge. They've looked at the seeds that were planted, and they're not very happy because it's almost like they figured it out, right? Like all of the things that they've been told, the seeds that were planted, they've discovered weren't in their best interest. And yeah, it's created a wake up with that Page of Swords. Again, that's fresh energy, but the crowns have woken up. And so a whole shitload of people have like picked up their swords and they've now become the warriors, right? It's like now they have like this new, well, we've been told that they've been enlightened, and this doubles that. Again, that's because there's those little birds around his head, and to me that's like an awakening with the crown. And he picks up his swords, his sword, his knowledge, his words, his ego, and he's ready to be a force now in the world to fight for what it is that he has been enlightened about. And so that's what's happening, you guys. So then we come down to the Eight of Swords. And what is the Seven of Pentacles looking at? He's directly looking down at, with the Eight of Swords, she's bound, right? But she's only binding herself because the truth has been all around her. But she's refusing to see it with her eyes being bound. She's refusing to hear it because those bandages go around her ears. And she's refusing to feel it intuitively because those bandages go around her her midsection, her solar plexus, and her sacral chakra. So it's a binding of oneself, right? To not see truth around them because it's all around them. And all you have to do is look to see. And so it is a little disappointing for these people because they're starting to realize that they did this to themselves. They deliberately wouldn't see truth, feel truth, or hear truth. And so that's, and like I said, they might be berating themselves a little bit here with this Seven of Pentacles because there's that really, like you're really assessing the seeds that you've planted and the things that you've grown or worked to grow. And you're downtrodden about it. And so, yeah, they're looking straight down to the fact that they really kept themselves in the dark and they wouldn't seek truth. And so there might be some self-berating, but that's okay because we all have to move through that. The fluffy spiritual side of things, the fluffy spiritualists, the ones that I don't resonate with at all, will tell you shame is a terrible thing and oh, don't feel shame and oh, shame, shame, shame. Well, there's a degree of shame that is good. We all need to feel it when we've been assholes. When I've been terrible and done something horrible, the guilty feelings and the shame that I feel for it drives me to not want to do that again, right? It motivates me to change. So shame is not a bad thing, as long as we don't wallow in it for the next 60 years and never move forward. But feeling that guilt, feeling that shame, that's part of the process of letting the ego die and moving. We have to accept when we've been jerks. You know, if people want to say, I've never been an asshole ever in my life, they're filling you full of shit. Like we all have been. We're human. We have the light and the dark within us. And then if we're conscious and we want to make choices, we consciously choose one way or the other, right? So yeah, they're probably feeling a little like, how did I not see all this? They're feeling bad about this. But we come down and we have that Ace of Cups. And that Ace of Cups is all about love and it's about being washed clean. So that's interesting. That's about being washed clean in love, right? And starting something fresh and new from a higher perspective. You've got that dove. It's divine love. Being washed clean, what are you being washed clean of? Well, you're being washed clean probably of, now you come over, you've got that Seven of Cups again, which shows the icky things and the good things. There's only a couple good things in there. It's mostly icky. And it also shows the surprise, and it shows the manipulator in the background, right? The shadow. So they're being washed clean of any feelings that they had that they've walked away from, that now they're awake to seeing and thinking were not only not serving them, but may have been like really terrible ways of feeling. So they're being washed clean, like humanity is being moved out of troubled water. There's a big wake up, I would say, and a walking away from woke ideologies is what we're getting here. And I just want to clarify that. It looks to me like this wake up that you're talking about isn't just your middle of the road people coming to wake up and start to see things more clearer. It's not those people that are generally fair, just hadn't delved deep. It's really what I would call woke ideology, where they pretend to be all inclusive, but they're actually hateful and divisive. And it seems to me what you're trying to tell us right now, what you're trying to convey to us, is that there's been a fresh energy that has come in, and probably young people, a young audience of woke ideology, have been washed clean, and their eyes have been opened. Because I'm getting a lot of that young energy. So you tell them, and that's what we need, because those kids are what's going to, like, everything that I think, feel, hope for, want for freedom. Like, I'm of an age now where it's really these younger generations. They're going to be ruling the world. They're going to be moving the world. And in order for the world to be moving in a beautiful, free way, these kids that have been indoctrinated into believing in socialism and communism and while calling us Nazis, which is just crazy. This younger generation that's been so indoctrinated, they're what's going to move the world, right? So it looks to me like they've woken up. Like, there's been a huge wake up within the younger generations. And I just want to see if I'm getting that correctly, you guys. The universe wants us to know that there's been a huge wake up and a walking away from old ideologies that were kind of icky. Like, kids, like, they've been washed clean. They've been cleansed. And this is important because this really will move humanity into smoother sailing. So am I getting this correctly? There's been a giant wake up when it comes to the younger generations. Younger than me. The younger ones. Please and thank you. And you want us to know that there's been a huge movement there. Yes. Our wishes have come true, you guys. A cycle ended. Those younger generations have come too. With that 9 of Cups. It's a wish fulfillment. This was the hope. This was the hope. And it's happened. There's been a huge wake up. I would love, and I just said it last time we were on, or somewhere around the last time, that however I feel about something, my life, you know, I'm older. These younger kids and teenagers and the young adults of today are what's going to be moving the world. And if they're indoctrinated as far as like socialism and communism goes, which is they really were, and indoctrinated in many other ways, and they're the ones that are going to be moving the world, it could be really screwed up. So it was important for them to wake up. And it seems as though there's been a big shift, and a lot of them have. Now I'm wondering, does this have anything to do with what's happened on the world stage with Charlie Kirk? That kind of shook people, a younger generation. Did that kind of shake a younger generation awake? Was that a big tipping point where people woke up because of what happened on the world stage with Charlie Kirk? Did that really impact the young to kind of create an awakening? Yes. So yeah, and we had gotten that 3-day insight into how this particular event that they had put forth on the world stage, that he was part of the 60,000 man army, and I believe it's more than that. If we've been told the numbers are 60,000, we know it's more than that, right? And that the event that took place on the world stage with him was going to really create great change. And so here we are. Weeks past that now, and we just got that a huge wake up has happened, and people walked away from ideologies and feelings because feelings are valid. Your feelings and my feelings are valid, and we can feel however the hell we want, but our feelings aren't so valid that the rest of the world needs to tiptoe around them or cater to them. It's up to us to be emotionally intelligent enough and healthy enough to deal with our own feelings, right? And be able to separate feelings from logic and truth and whatnot. So, and these younger generations have been severely confused and taught wrong. They've just been taught wrong. And it seems as though there was just a whole washing clean of that with that Ace of Cups that we got. And yes, it is. This did create a major wake up. So that's wonderful. That is wonderful. I still know a bunch of ridiculousness goes on in my area. But I also know a lot of people are not ridiculous in my area. And it's just that the ridiculous people fuss the most, right? And they scream the loudest. While being insulted if we say any little thing. I'm so over those people. I don't want to be around them at all. If I've come to the conclusion, because everybody's so fragile. Like, I grew up, I was an 80s kid, so we grew up tough. We were rebels without causes. I think we might have been the last true tough generation. We raised our kids. We wanted them to have it a little better than we did. No, we wanted them to have a little more supervision because we knew the things that we were doing unsupervised. But some of us raised our kids even though we gave them more supervision. And didn't want them to be as naughty as we were, right? We still raised them to be fairly tough. But some of my generation didn't. They were like, oh God, look at the way we grew up, and they took it to the polar opposite. And overindulged their children and didn't discipline and overindulged. And some of us tried to keep it middle ground. But I'd really like to see some of that grit come back in, because this country has become very weak because everybody's more focused on feelings. And like I said, your feelings are valid, my feelings are valid. There's all of this crap talk about your truth, speaking your truth, speaking your truth. Yes, you can speak your truth. That's meant to be done in counseling. You know, in counseling, you go in and you talk to somebody about all of your feelings and your experiences and how that impacted you. Real or imagined, your experiences, real or imagined. And you work it through with your counselor, and you figure out along the way that, you know, Joe Blow down the road might have said something to you one day that hurt your feelings, but that was not his intention. So your hurt feelings were imagined, right? And you're supposed to weed that shit out in counseling. And then you go into the world, and you don't expect everybody to tiptoe around your triggers and your feelings and your truth. And that's just not what's happening here. It's like everybody is... It's been very convoluted. So we need to kind of clean up this mess that's been created. There was a saying, you know, back in the day, and people from my generation still feel that way. You've got these young TikTokers saying that they go to work and they don't feel safe, and you know, oh, they've got all these feelings. And, you know, back in my day, I have a friend that will still say it. You're at work right now. Check your feelings at the door, right? I thought we checked our feelings at the door. You can pick them back up and take them back home with you when you leave. But, you know, a little emotional resilience would go a long way. And nobody seems to have any anymore. So it's really good to see that there's been this washing and this awakening and this shift. That's a very good thing, you guys. So I don't know, how long have I been on here? An hour and 2 minutes. So with that, that's where we'll start with the comeback. They want us to know that there has been a huge shift, a movement, an awakening. And it's with the younger generation, you guys, which is very important. So now that they've given us that information, let's just see. I'm just going to tell you guys right now, it is 6:47, and it's just dawn. It's not light out yet. It's still very dusky. I call it dusk, but it's dawn. But it has that same look as at night. You know what I mean? It's dawn though, because it's in the morning. But yeah, it's just, I'm in that dark phase of the year here. So, alright, with everything that has been expressed to us today with the wake up, and I appreciate knowing that. It gives me great encouragement and great hope. Now that we've been told that, is there anything you'd like to leave us with? Please and thank you. The King of Pentacles. The King of Pentacles is very, very fair. So that's the first thing I want to say there. The King of Pentacles is a very, very fair man. So we're being told to stay in a state and be very fair. Hold fairness in our heart. The King of Pentacles is also very abundant in the earthly pleasures, right? So, abundance in the earth. So that would mean your wallets, your whatnot. But he's very green. So if they're leaving us with a card for advice, anything they want to leave us with, they're telling us there's abundance in the earth. And to stay very fair. So I would say we need a couple more cards. It's just a little bit of a last message. There's abundance in the earth. There's a fairness coming with abundance. There's a cycle that has been surrendered to completely with that Ten of Swords. There's work going in, more work to go, but there's abundance being ground in. So there's something new coming, and we should get excited about it. When we look at this king, who's very, very fair and abundance in the earth, and then we come down to this strength card, grounding something in strong from the heavens, right? Abundance being ground in and taming the beast. And then we look here, there's been a complete surrendering of an old way of doing things with technology. Technology, that's our swords, right? Grounding in from a higher vibration up here over her head, grounding in something higher to tame a beast. And you're thinking of, I always think of with the King of Pentacles, you know, supplements, vitamins, staying healthy. And then, of course, if you look here, with that 10 of Swords, an old way dying, seeds that have been planted, little bit more to go. 7 from a spiritual perspective. I think they're telling us we're about to receive new medicines, new ways of doing things to keep the body healthy, balanced, and it's only fair that things are coming. So is that what you're saying? Like new ways, new technology, new medicines, higher vibrational ways of caring for oneself are on their way? Is that what you're leaving us with? Please and thank you. Something to get excited about. 2 things to get excited about if this is what they're saying. Let's just double check, because that's how I'm seeing it, you guys. That is how I'm seeing it. All right, so are you saying that we have some new things coming in the way of medicines and healing and the technology that we use to do that? A lot of new, it would be medicines made from plant-based plants, the earth, new medicines, new technology, an old way being taken care of. We'll receive a heap of them, and then there will be more to come. But we're grounding in a much higher way that we will be taking care of ourselves from a much higher perspective, a much higher vibrational way to tame any beast that might be happening within our own bodies. Is that correct? One more shuffle and I'll cut them. We get the 5. A story. Oh, people are going to get upset. Alright, so they do want you to know people are going to be upset. They're going to be upset. They're going to be upset. Because as this happens, people are going to focus on what they're losing. And they're not going to focus on the good stuff. Like, the good stuff behind this guy with the 5 is touching our Empress, which is much more healing. But they're focused on the stuff that's spilled that has to end. So we're going to have some division, you guys, as these new things come in, and they want us to know that there are going to be people with this 5 of Cups that focus on what they're losing, because he's looking at what's spilled. He won't turn around at the full cups behind him that are touching the Empress, which is the great healer. okay? He will not turn around and look at these things that are actually birthing something new, something to be joyful about, highly abundant, very healing, very high vibrational, pulled in from both above and below the earth and higher frequencies. They won't look at that at all. They're merely focusing on what they think they've lost. The cups that have spilled over, the journey, those cups that spilled over that we're going to lose weren't working. They were actually making people sick. They weren't working, but there's a certain amount of people that will not be on board with the new medicines and the new treatments and all of this new stuff that we're going to have coming to us according to the universe right now. Okay? And so they want you to know, as we come down from this 5, which is great change through chaos, and then we come down to this 9, which is ending a cycle, that there are going to be people, a smaller percentage, that trust this new way of doing things, right? Because the small percentage is actually on the Empress side of things, on the healing side of things. As this old stuff ends, there's actually going to be a larger percentage of people that are going to be upset about all of this new stuff coming in. So we're being told that I know people like you and I are going to be excited about the new things, okay? And many people that have been full on awake and expecting things, they're going to be really excited. Unfortunately, there's going to be a whole group of people that are going to be very wary of getting rid of some of these ways that we have been doing things. So I'm just going to let them, okay, so you're warning, we do have new things coming in, but there's a whole group of people that are going to be very upset, very sketched out, not trusting and and pretty upset about losing a way of life that, even though it wasn't working, they thought it was. So a larger percent of people aren't going to be quite as on board with the new things. So if that's the case, there's probably going to be an interim where those people think that they're still taking things that they counted on, or they'll lose them little by little by little. I don't know. So give me the middle ground, please, and thank you. This is going to be a long one. I'm sorry, you guys. They want us to know that a new generation has woken up. We've got some good healing things coming our way. Unfortunately, there's going to be a whole group of people that don't trust it. And so let's see, where's the middle ground? Moving humanity out of troubled water and bringing in a higher vibrational way of being is going to have to come in, I guess. You guys, a lot of illusion is going to have to be used, okay? So we have all this stuff that we know is coming in, and we have all this stuff that we know a certain amount of people grasp onto. They believe in it. They will be devastated to lose it. We have this stuff that they won't look at that's actually quite healing, that a group of us will look at. So what we're being told here is that in order to move humanity out of troubled water, as far as like, this is divine love with this 6 of swords, and it is moving humanity, the sick, the downtrodden, into smoother waters by doing the physical labor for them, right? So the information's right in front of them, or the good medicine's right in front of them, but they won't look up at it. So they're actually being moved by the muscle behind them to move them into a smoother sailing day. So what's going to happen in order to do this, because this is our middle ground that I've asked about, in order to move people into this smoother sailing so that the percentage of people that wouldn't trust it can come around, we then have the Fool. So we have people in the background moving people in that direction. We have the Fool. Very high vibrational, bringing in the higher vibrations. There's going to be people making the noise, because the dog makes the noise here. So there's people in the background bringing in the good stuff, and then you're going to have people in the front making the noise. So what I gather from that is perhaps the person, because perhaps the person or the people that are bringing forward the information, that are bringing forward the medicines, that are bringing forward the new technology, have a very high vibrational intention, but perhaps because of this certain amount of people that aren't trusting that, they don't trust the people that can bring this forward. So there's this little dog here that's actually going to make the noise to bring it forward. So a face, an illusion, because we have the magician here, the face of someone or people that are more trusted, or that a majority of people feel more comfortable with. As we come over to that King of Cups, that will bring forward the things that feel good, but then bring more forward. Because with the King of Cups, more rises up, and more rises up, and more rises up. So it's gonna, and great illusion. So there's going to be an illusion. There's going to be a lot of illusion during this interim, okay? So what I'm gathering here is, there's still going to be the availability of vaccines, but they're going to be much more high vibrational, or they could be just plain water. Saline. But there's going, there could be still medications that are going to be available to people that were probably very much relied on by a whole group of people. And now something will have been cleansed within them, or even a placebo, or they've been remade with ingredients now that are healthy with this king. Okay? So what they're letting us know is we're about to hit an interim phase within our medical field, and there's going to be a lot of illusion that goes on right now. And they're wanting us to know that. Is that the truth? So we're about to hit... The medical field is about to take on a super change, and so there's going to have to be a lot of illusion right now between the better stuff that's being made with that King of Pentacles, the higher frequency things that are coming in, very high frequency, to tame these beasts and heal us. There's going to have to be a lot of illusion because of the discomfort that most people would feel with this complete shift. So there's still going to be, there's going to be you might sit back and say, why don't they take this completely off the shelf? What we're getting told is people would shit their pants. And so there's a lot of illusion around what's on the shelf. Things have been going through cleansing, and they want us to know that. Did I read this correct? because I think we must be right in the thick of it, or it must be about ready to get really intense as far as the new stuff coming in and the old stuff going out. So there's going to be this interim of the magician creating an illusion. The old way has ended, new things coming in, but the old way is still going to look like it's still there, but it's been cleaned with better things. Am I getting that correct? I'm getting that correct. So we're going to go through a period of time, you guys, where we're going to be being introduced to new things, new ways, new things. And many of us, some of us are going to be really excited about that. But some people won't. And so we're going to go through a phase where these old ways are still going to look as though, the illusion will look as though they're still available. Things are going to be phased out, you guys. Better things are going to be phased in, and some things will just be brought to us. It's a very interesting time that we're going to be looking at soon medically. So let's keep our eyes and ears peeled for that, because that's exciting. And with that, I'm going to end. So we've just been told we've got new things coming. There's going to be an illusion of the old because of some people that would shit their pants to not have it. So we're going through an interesting time right now. But new things are coming. Old ways are ending. And we're going to have better ways to take care of ourselves in the health department. And a whole new generation has walked away from an old ideology, and they've picked up their swords, and they've gone through a shift, and they're seeing things differently. It's like they've been washed clean. Their eyes have been opened, their crowns have been ignited, and they've been washed, cleansed in divine love. So that's interesting. So I'll be back. I love you all. I've missed you all. Believe me, my life has been, it's been, there was no way that I could get on and do a reading for you because of what was going on here. Like literally physically, a shit show has been having to be repaired here. And I have had power tools running, and I have had all kinds of stuff going on for weeks. And it's been horrible. And I really couldn't ask my boyfriend to not repair what needed to be repaired. Very, very important to get it done so that I could get on for an hour, hour and a half, take away from his time to fix. We had some major issues. We still do. We've still got a shitload to fix. So he could take away time from fixing things that were very, very important so that I could provide a free service, right? When he's taking off time from work because it was that bad, and I was having to ask him to not be running all that shit when I was doing my own personal work so that my clients could hear me. You know, it's just one of those things, you guys. I just couldn't do the free service. We've been trying to get our shit done. On top of which I have been sick, and I've had other things going on too. So I'm so sorry. I've missed you guys, but I got to get my house strong before there's snow on the roof, and we've just had a mess. We ran into a terrible situation. So he's back to work. So no power tools are running right now. They're running at night though. So I was able to come on. I could have come on yesterday, but I had a wicked bad fever. So I didn't come on yesterday. But I have missed you guys, and I'm sorry I've been gone, but you know, life gets you. And sometimes you just have to deal with your life. And that's what we've been doing. But I'm sending you all very, very high vibes. Lots of love. And yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. I promise. I will see you tomorrow. All right. I love you. Until tomorrow, take care. Bye.